English 112. Here for your weekly video lecture. We're in week 6. And this week you guys are going to start your literary analysis paper process by doing research on Othello and on O, and formulating a thesis and creating an outline. So I'm going to talk to you briefly about how to do that. You should have done this last year in English 111 or whenever you took English 111. So I'm not spending a ton of time on it. In English 111, I spend weeks going through this. I'm trying to fix my little flyaways. In English 111, I spend weeks going through this. Now it's the expectation that you know how to do this. So, for Othello, as we are now done reading it, you guys are going to write what is called a comparative analysis paper. And this is just a type of a literary analysis. So again, a literary analysis is when you analyze literature. You are analyzing Othello, and the way that you are doing it is by comparing it to a modern adaptation of Othello. So a comparative analysis. So you're still analyzing literature, but what you're doing is you're comparing the play to the movie, okay? And what you're going to do, and I give you a detail assignment document so you know what the assignment is. You are going to compare the play of Othello to the movie version of O. Overall, you're answering some questions. Does the movie adequately portray the literature? Okay, so is it appropriate? Does it keep the author's purpose? So you need to know what the author's purpose was, okay, and you get to define that. So it's not something you have to look up. What do you think Shakespeare's purpose was? And does the play show that? How? So that's a paper topic. Another paper topic is investigating racism through Othello and through the movie O. Is it present in both? Is it important that it's in both? Or, infidelity, class differentiation, I can't speak today, but, social status. And I think they kind of flip social status a little bit around in the movie version. So how do they portray that theme, okay, differently than the play? Morality, for sure. I mean, Iago is just so evil. And then, of course, you're going to look at a social issue, and you can compare the social issue. Now, I will tell you that you're going to be using a social issue for your final project in this class, and you're going to have to tie it back to the play. So even if you don't choose to write your literary analysis paper on this, which is totally fine, prepare to still pick one of these to work with later in the class, okay? So do not feel like you have to write about that, but choose one of those social issues and be able to identify it within the play, because we're going to use it for the rest of the class. So you have to cite the play, cite the film, and 2 scholarly articles. I'm going to provide you with one of the articles, and then you find a different one. The article that I'm providing you with is a literary critique of the movie. So that should be helpful. Definitely read and annotate and note that article before you start anything, okay? And then look for what else do you want to look into for the play. So if you want to focus on how the play looks at racism and how the movie looks at racism, then you may find an article in the LRC about racism in Othello. And it would just be most likely in the play. And then you would compare about like what you saw in the movie. Or, social status, class warfare, morality, any of those topics, okay? Racial inequality, violence against women. There's lots of feminist literary analysis on Othello, and you can find that in the LRC. So my suggestion to you is to read the article I provide, make some notes, see what you come up with from that comparison, and then pick what do I want to focus on from the play and the movie, what theme topic essentially. So think about things like racial inequality, gender inequality, violence against women, violence within young people, which was really the movie more than it is the play, so you may want to step back from that when you do your search. Of course, discrimination based on either race, gender, or class. Okay, so you can look at class discrimination in Othello and see how it's flipped on its head in O. Lots of different things you can do in your comparative analysis essay, okay? So, first step for you guys is to read the scholarly article I provide. I suggest you print it, highlight it, annotate it, see what you can get from what that person's presenting in their article, okay? And then you're going to use the LRC, and your link to the LRC is at the top of our Moodle page, all the way at the top in our resources, okay? There's a link that says LRC, library, opens in a new window. You'll click that, which I'm doing now. If you want to go through this with me, pause me now, open up Moodle, and get into the LRC, and then follow along. Okay. So I'm in the LRC on the left, Learning Resources Center. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to click on Library Databases. Click. On the right, you'll see Popular Databases. Scroll on down. NC Live is my favorite. Click it. Now, I'm looking for a second article on Othello. Maybe I'm going to focus on race in Othello, okay? Or racism in Othello. So I'm going to type in racism, Othello, enter. And then on the left, there's a column and it says scholarly articles. I'm going to click the words scholarly articles. Click. And then my search comes up before me. So I have full text online, scholarly peer review, and I have 1,012 journal articles to look at. Am I going to look at all of them? No. Racism, misogyny, and the Othello myth. So here we can look at either racism or misogyny, okay? So that gender inequality. Let me click on this, though, because I want to read the abstract to see if it's even anything I want. Oh boy, how long is this? I would not use this. Don't use this. It's too short. So I'm going to X out of it. I'm going to scroll down and see what else I can find. An essence that's not seen. The primal scene of racism in Othello. Click. This is research. This is how you research, okay? And is there an abstract available? Not really. So I'm going to go to the PDF. It says, the abstract says, William Shakespeare's Othello probes into the character's blackness, always scrutinizing and presumably moving toward the origin of the essence of his black presence. A primal scene of racism in the play is examined. So this article is going to focus on one scene and really hone in on it, okay? So you may choose to use this, or you may say, I might want to use this and something else, depending on what you can get from it, okay? I always suggest when you find the article you want to use, download the PDF, save it to your computer, okay? Have a file for English 111 and just save whatever articles you use. I still have articles from grad school that I've used, and I might go back to and use one day when I'm teaching, so save them. This is a nice long article, so it's probably got a really in-depth analysis, so I may choose to use this. Okay. So this is how you research. You find another article that works for your topic, okay? When you find it, on the right, you'll see the download PDF icon. Right underneath download PDF, you'll see this little magical link that says cite. Click it. An APA-style citation pops up. We are using MLA for our first paper. So this is an MLA formatted citation we need to use. So I'm going to change it to MLA 8th edition. Click change. I now have my citation. In parentheses, an essence that's not seen the primal scene of racism in. Okay, I'm going to copy that whole thing, paste it into Microsoft Word for my works cited page so that I know my full citation is correct. Okay, little trick of the trade. Okay, so going back to the Moodle page. I have found an article that I'm going to use. I've read it, I've annotated it. Now it's time for me to write my thesis statement. A thesis is what you are going to prove in the paper. That's it. You do not use personal pronouns when writing a thesis because we do not write in academic formal writing with personal pronouns. The thesis states in 1 to 2 sentences what you are going to prove in the paper. It's very important that we understand that, okay? There's an online PDF I give you a link to. Open it up. It tells you how to write a thesis statement. It gives you a graphic organizer. Use it to write your thesis statement. Please utilize these resources that I am providing you when you write your thesis statement. When you submit your MLA formatted outline and thesis, I'm going to be looking for a thesis statement that fits the parameters within this resource. Your thesis statement is 2 sentences. It says 1 to 2 sentences, okay? But if it's only 1 sentence, it should be a compound, complex sentence. Otherwise, it should be 2. And it states what's going to be proven in the essay and how it's going to be proven. So if you're writing a comparative analysis essay and you're saying that the film O is a successful modern adaptation of the play of William Shakespeare's Othello, that's my first sentence. I'm going to prove that. Now, how am I going to prove it? The film O adequately portrays the racism that Shakespeare portrayed within his play and its effects on the main character. Boom. That's my thesis. Copyright. Don't steal my thesis. There are resources here for you to use for your thesis statement. There is a video about the connection and the relationship between a thesis and an outline. And there is an MLA formatted outline template for you. Use it. Okay, feel free to use it because I'm expecting those MLA format expectations to be in your document. Okay, remember that when you write an outline, your main points, your Roman numerals, those are the main points of your essay. Okay, so what are the main things you're going to talk about? And then your capital letters, A's and B's, are your supporting your ideas for that. And then your 1s and 2s and subsequent little A's and B's are the details from the play, quotes from the play, quotes from scholarly articles, okay? Details that back up what you're presenting. Remember that in an MLA formatted article, or excuse me, an MLA formatted thesis and outline, that I expect for you to have your header, your heading, a title that is indicative of what your paper is about. So your title should not say Lit Analysis Outline. It should say whatever your paper is about, okay? Racism in Othello and an O or something like that. Then the word thesis and your full thesis statement written out. Then your outline. Remember that if you have a 1, you must have a 2. If you have an A, you must have a B, meaning you can't just have one detail, okay, for a main idea. You have to have more than one. If you have a 1, you must have a 2. If you have an A, you must have a B, okay? Your comparative analysis essay is to be 1,250 to 1,500 words. That's like 5 to 7 pages long. So you probably want to have anywhere from 4 to 5 or 6 Roman numerals, okay, main idea or topics. So just be aware of that. I'm not counting them, but that's just kind of an idea, okay? So this week, you're turning in your MLA formatted thesis and outline paper, all right? The template there you are welcome to use. Just make sure it's all updated. It doesn't say MLA outline template in the header anymore. It has all of your information, okay? You can add to it, feel free. That is due Sunday night, okay? That's all that is due on Sunday. No, That's all that is due, but I'm going to make a journal for you. So make sure you do your journal because that's your attendance assignment, and that you submit your outline, thesis and outline, by Sunday night. And then next week, you will write your rough drafts. So research and thesis and outline, that's what you're doing this week. If you have questions, feel free to email me. Have a great week.